Hi, Angelo Lambropoulos here, Director of Lambros Realty, and here I am at doing the live Zoom presentation. So thank you for those of you that have joined. So I'll get straight into it. So for the August 2021 property market update here in Cherrybrook, I'll proceed with the registered home sales. So there were 11 registered home sales for. Bear with me, sorry, just got to allow someone else in there. Sorry. Let me just fix the view. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so just going back with the what I was saying there. So for the August 2021 property market update, there were 11 registered home sales for August 2021. So the median price in amongst those home sales was sitting at 2,110,000. The highest sale amongst those was sitting at 2,530,000. Yeah, was sitting at 2 million, and the average days on market was there at 24. Now, if we compare this to August 2020, so this time last year, there were 12 registered home sales for August, so only an extra one. The median amongst those home sales was 1,495,750 to be exact. The highest sale was at 1,640,000, and the average days on market was the same at 24. So very interesting to see that a year on, we're talking a higher sale price in amongst the highest sale of the properties there, almost $1 million difference, which is absolutely crazy, especially considering we're in a lockdown as well. Now, as far as the auction clearance rates are concerned, there were 9 scheduled auctions that took place in Cherrybrook for the month of August. Now, of the 9, 7 had actually sold on the day of auction and 2 had sold prior. So when you're looking at the 7 of which had sold of the 9, that's a 78% clearance rate. And when you incorporate the other one that sold there, including the other 2 that sold. Sorry, just admitting a few more people into the Zoom. Apologies for that. If you look at the other, so in amongst all the sales there, as a result of the auction, you'll find that there was a 100% clearance rate. So you can clearly see that the online auctions haven't pushed anyone away. On the contrary, if anything, it's drawn people in. So to be honest, I can't recall a time as far as looking at the data where I've seen 100% clearance rate in Cherrybrook, which includes, obviously including sold prior and sold at auction. Very rare. So you can see, I think, given the circumstances and given the lockdown at present, what I'm noticing is there seems to be a case of those that are looking to sell. Online auctions seems to be the favorable option, and I think it admittedly probably is working best in this environment because it's a form of social proof. A lot of people, obviously in isolation, nobody knows what's going on. Then when you set foot on the auction, and you know, on average, I was talking to Jesse Davidson, of the owner of Auction Works, the company we use for our auctions there, and he advised there's, you know, through across the board and what he's seeing through their data, there's an average of 10.8 people, so close to 11 people registering to bid at auctions, which is, yeah, just defies. I think if one thing's come about from this lockdown, it's and I guess the statement stands true. People want what they can't have, so there's a frenzy to sort of jump in and buy. So just going back to the median sale price in Cherrybrook, so it's up 2.7% from this time last month, which is identical to the growth we saw from June to July, up 2.7%. And the irony with this as well is there were 11 registered home sales this month as there was in July. So we're sort of seeing parallel figures there, both lockdown periods and both showing signs of price growth. Now, the Cherrybrook median price is up 41% from this time last year, which is absolutely phenomenal. So if you're, you know, as a homeowner there, you'd be sitting quite happy and reassured. the stock levels, if as of today, being Friday the 3rd of September, the stock levels is sitting, there's 13 properties currently listed for sale in Cherrybrook. Now, when I say 13, that's 13 homes. So when I do report this data, I am to keep it as accurate as possible. I solely focus on homes because you will get distortions if you start incorporating duplexes, townhouses, and that sort of thing into the data, admittedly, which is a very small portion of the Cherrybrook stock. So yes, there's 13 homes currently listed for sale in Cherrybrook as of Friday, the 3rd of September. So I guess the summary, what we can take from the data as a result of this month is the home sellers that have sort of been sitting on the fence, not sure on what to do, are people buying, what sort of prices are being achieved as a result of lockdown. I guess you can seek comfort in the sense that there is, you can clearly see evidence of price increases. And I mean, the auction clearance rate, as I said, I've never seen that before in Cherrybrook as far as I can recall. I'm not saying it's never happened, but one thing's for sure, there's never been a 100% clearance rate in lockdown periods. So testament to, I guess, the strength and resilience of the market. And that again comes down to low stock levels, obviously. So as a homeowner, home seller, if you're sort of sitting on the fence, do I sell now? Do I sell later? I guess when we look at later, I'm not one of those that will tell you should sell now because the market's not going to go up in time. I mean, that's couldn't be any further from the truth, to be honest, because if you look at, the property market, Cherrybrook on average, since since it was developed early mid 80s, where a lot of the development took place, on average, it's grown 6% per annum. So this is why I always advise those that the best time to sell is when you're ready. And you are going to transact in similar markets. So obviously, if you're looking to sell now, you're also going to buy high. In a downturn market, obviously, yeah, you're not going to sell it as well, but you're going to buy well. Which, looking from a changeover perspective, you're actually better off to transact in a downturn type market if you are looking to do like for like, because as the market declines, you're obviously increasing your changeover price. Whereas in a market that's booming, when you sell, by the time you buy in, say 3 to 6 months, you've just paid an extra 4 to 5% on average. So some food for thought. The other interesting thing is, I was reading a report from Tim Lawless. He's the lead analyst from CoreLogic there, and his view is that the values will start to, we won't see the rate of growth we're seeing at the moment, because he's expecting more sellers to list as a result after the lockdown ends, which is obviously going to feed more options for buyers. So not to say that it's going to correct and go backwards, but just the rate of growth may not be as lucrative if we're sort of looking at this short-term period here now. And the other thing to add to that is you are seeing an influx of buyers, particularly here in Cherrybrook. So when Tim Lawless of CoreLogic makes that statement, obviously he's looking at things on a broad scale. But when we narrow it down and look at here at Cherrybrook, there is an influx of home buyers that are desperate to get in. I guess the big draw card as well in this suburb, it's not so much, the spring selling season. A lot of it has to do with people wanting to get their kids ready and set up for school commencement and enrollments for Cherrybrook Technology High School and the primary schools. And a lot of that really starts to fire and happen around the September, October, November, even December periods. So that's where, that you're going to see a big, I still think, despite lockdowns easing, don't have a crystal ball, but statistically speaking, I still think stock levels here in Cherrybrook will still remain fairly conservative. I don't think there's going to be the masses jumping in to sell. It's not that sort of climate. It hasn't been for the past 2 years that I've been recording the data here anyway. And just from experience and my experience in the area, I haven't seen it for quite some time. So this is where the ball is very much in your court. And as far as rents are concerned, rents are also rising at rapid rates. So Louis Christopher of SQM Research has gone on and said that this is the highest rate of rental growth that's been recorded since the 70s. So the lockdown really has everyone firing, and like I said before, it does stand true. People want what they can't have, and they're really jumping on to get into things. So that pretty much sums up the summary of the August property market update. And I hope that makes sense and I've covered things for you there. Now, what I will do is, I've noticed there's a few of you here. I'll just change the view. Do any of you have any questions for me?
Yes, I'd like to know if
Yeah.
you have any buyers from other states. Do they buy into, let's say, Cherrybrook properties from Melbourne, Queensland, other states, or are they all local people that buy?
Yeah, good question. Sorry, that was from you there, Mina. Um, it's a very good question. Now, as far as the other states, personally, I haven't encountered any buyers that have bought from interstate. A lot of it has to do, I guess, when you're buying a home, people want to come in, look and observe the home, and with the sort of restrictions at the moment, I dare say, and this is just speaking from personal experience here, I have had people inquire and ask about properties, but more trying to get an idea and to gauge. So I've had a few from Melbourne, I've had a few from Queensland that are looking to looking to move cross borders, but they're not in a position to do anything until they can physically see the home. So it's very much on the cards, but a lot of them are sort of in that searching phase at the moment. So the buyers in general that we are witnessing are more localized.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? I just noticed. Sorry, I'll just pop up the chat. Okay, so I've got one here. So why would people rent instead of buying given the interest rates? Yeah, very good question. Now, why would people rent? Generally, what we're finding here, the reason people rent is those that want to rent want to get an idea of the suburb. So, personally, I completely agree with you. Why would you? I mean, you jump in and buy, absolutely. But just a couple of things with that as well. There are those that feel that the market is overinflated at the moment and that they feel that it will correct. Personally, I don't think it'll correct to the level that they're saying or wish. And that's primarily because Cherrybrook, majority of the people that live here, there's no real mortgage stress. It's an established suburb. All the baby boomers have sort of paid off their debts. They can sit and wait. And the approach is, look, we don't need to sell. We're only going to sell if we want to move somewhere or see change or whatever it may be. So you've got the fence sitters that'll sit there thinking the market will go down, so I'll just rent. When it does, I'll increase my, I'll have more purchasing power, so to speak. Obviously, with talks that interest rates will remain low up until 2023, even 2024. A lot of it comes to chance, but I think you sort of want to be in control of your own destiny. That being said, that's why people are choosing to rent instead of buy. A lot of competition out there. There's with the competition, people want to. They know that they're going to pay a premium. And obviously, going back to what I said earlier, you've got those that just want to trial the suburb, see if they like it, and if they like it, they'll then commit to buying something. So I hope that answers your question there, Fizza. And where are we? Had one more. Are you selling any properties without inspection? Mina. Yep. So just to answer that question, answer to that is no. What people, I guess, what we've been doing as an office to combat the restrictions of, not people not being able to attend open homes and whatnot, is we. So I had a videographer who would do a professional video for us. And as a result of doing that professional video, I would then use that video to schedule open homes. So generally twice a week. So I'd run one on a Wednesday, one on a Saturday. Because obviously with the whole COVID thing and people wanting to socially distance and make sure that and only one person is allowed to inspect at any one time, as the rules are present, it gives them an idea to see the house so physically. And I'm happy to send you a link if any of you are interested on how it actually works. But so it's me going through the house in full detail, explaining everything. And then after the walkthrough tour is done, I'll use a share screen. Um, Use a share screen to obviously show uh, the whole walkthrough to everybody that was joining the inspection. And on average, people that were doing the inspection, we were getting an average of around 15 people. So we're getting really good numbers. And from that, it was translating to, all right, now we want to come and inspect the house because we feel it's the right one for us, as opposed to coming out to have a look at it and then find out it's not the one for them. So it's, I guess it was more a pre-qualifying tool so people could really ascertain, is this the one for me, or is it not the one for me? So that's how we found the most productive way to run inspections throughout the course of this period. But yeah, as far as inspections, there are inspections still taking place one-on-one, but to really get it out there to the masses and so people can see. And we also had people inspecting that had just traveled, or we had a group that were from the US, where they were in hotel quarantine, liked the house, wanted to have a look at it. The only way they could do it was via having a look through the walkthrough open home. So yeah, it definitely does achieve that. And I think just going back also to the online auction scenario as well, what that has allowed people to do, Saturdays are very hectic with people going backwards and forwards. I think this has taken a lot of the stress out of it for a lot of people, and the system seems to be working quite well. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's offices, and it is a trend that perhaps does continue post lockdown, because it is very efficient. Certainly something I'd consider as an office, but I understand with auctions and being an auctioneer, you really want people there, and but yeah, we'll see. Does that answer that question for you?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Duria, I'm using my son's. Okay, would you know the status of the Cumberland Forest development and around the station? Okay, yeah. In answer to that question, I haven't. There's no updates. I haven't heard anything. Haven't received any updates from Landcom either on what's happening in and around the station. Everything seems to be on pause at the moment. I think the government's priority is getting control of the whole COVID thing, and as a result, and I dare say, I mean, I'm only speculating here, apartments, and what I've been noticing is a lot of people that have been with lockdown stuck in apartments, it hasn't been a favorable option. So a lot of them are looking to break away, and a lot of the buyers, where are they coming from? A lot of them have been inner city apartments that are wanting to get out, that want space, um, where that's where I think the apartment thing is sort of, it came undone to a degree. There was obviously an oversupply before the lockdown took place, but now coupled with the fact that you're in lockdown, you're stuck in an apartment, there's nothing you can really do. People are out there wanting space. So a lot of the buyers have been breaking away from those apartments to come to suburbs such as Cherrybrook and West Pennant Hills and Beecroft, and spaces where it's open, where they can really break away and you know, utilize backyards, utilize parks. Something unfortunately that they're not able to do in apartments. So there could be an element of back to the drawing board to consider what's going to be done. As far as the site, I know there were talks of Mirvac's proposal there at the IBM site to try go up to 10 levels. So they've gone from 6 to 8 and slowly starting to push to 10. But look, personally, I'd be very surprised if that goes through, because that will create a very dangerous precedent for the suburb. And as much as I love the suburb of Cherrybrook, to be brutally honest, irrespective of what our views are, whether we agree with apartments, whether we don't, it's absolutely not an apartment suburb, at least not yet. right? And I say that because the demographic, if you look at the average numbers per household, you're looking at just under four people per house. Why do people buy to move into Cherrybrook? What is the big draw card? Well, no, it's not the train station. Let's be honest, there's plenty of other better locations there that are close to the Sydney CBD that have train stations, so other options to explore there. You need more than just a train station to lure people in. You need infrastructure, you need good shops, you need strong schools. So when we say strong schools, we do have good schools here, but those schools are not positioned in proximity to the train station. There's no job hubs or anything. So if you look at comparison, where are we? North Ryde, Macquarie Park, apartments make perfect sense. You've got a host of jobs in and around there. You've got the business parks, you've got the universities, you've got the hospitals. There's so much happening there. It makes perfect sense. Whereas Cherrybrook, you're sort of stuck in isolation. So this is where I think they've perhaps gone back to the drawing board, irrespective of what people's views and beliefs are. I just don't think the money is there and especially when the neighbouring suburb, Castle Hill, is really struggling to sell off those apartments they've got there too. Not to mention the structural defects. So there's a lot of question marks in and around apartments at the moment, and I think the data was meant to, so Landcom, for instance, when they did their feasibility study, that was meant to be released early this year. Obviously, it hasn't. But yeah, there's been no updates, and I dare say the apartment thing needs to take a bit of a backward step until they get COVID under control, because people's mindset at the moment is, I really want to get out and do things because I'm not able to do so in apartments. So that's my view there. Does that answer that question, Duria? Yeah, yeah. Look, the apartments. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Rather, they don't build apartments, but yeah, personally, I'm of the same view. I'm, been doing what I can to try oppose it using factual data and information, not just personal, not just personal views or perception, because that's, I guess that's not fair on anyone. You've got to sort of look at fact, but yeah, personally looking at all the facts and the numbers, it doesn't add up. So yeah, now does anyone else have any questions, or we conclude the meeting? No? Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll draw it to a close. And thank you. I know a few of you have logged off already, so I'm going to obviously, yep. Thank you for your kind words. No, thank you all for joining. And yeah, I'll do the same thing next month. Do a live Zoom and happily answer any further questions. So thank you all for tuning in. Okay, take care. Bye.